If you were to pick IQ or EQ, which one of these two would you say ranks higher?
I will go for the emotional intelligence because it's about dealing with people. You can always find people to analyze things, and in the AI world of today, computers are analyzing things everywhere, but even the computers, what differentiates them from us is the emotions. Those that are emotionally intelligent and can use that are still going to be, one step ahead any day, anytime.
So people have two thoughts on sharing their problems. One is a problem shared is a problem half solved. The other, a problem shared is just for another person. Which category do you belong to?
The thing about this quote is that they are never complete. There's a lot of quotes that people quote. A problem shared with the right person is half solved. It's just like knowledge is power, knowledge is power. It's actually applied knowledge that is power.
Welcome to theBLOcounsel, where we talk about everything personal development and business development.
Welcome again to another episode of theBLOcounsel. We are having a question and answer segment where I'll be getting some interesting questions from our crew behind the scene. Today, I was told we'll be discussing emotional intelligence, which I think is a very vital and important topic. I think everybody should have a high level of emotional intelligence if they are going to achieve, if they are going to succeed, and if they are going to be able to build the best relationships with their friends, family, and just the world that they live in. So stay tuned and hear some beautiful questions from Grace and some interesting answers from me.
Do you think emotional intelligence is more important than IQ in real life? And if you think so, why?
It's difficult to say one is more important than the other. I think they need to work hand in hand together. I would say, IQ will be, let me call that, one's, level of intelligence, right? Just, maybe your problem solving skills, how you can think about, analyze things, your analytical skills and all those stuff are called, the IQ side. The emotional intelligence side is, more of how you understand your emotions and also understand the emotions of other people too, and your ability to be able to balance both sides. I think in life generally, as long as you need analytical skills, you need critical thinking skills, you need ability to be able to read and write skills. At the same time, you need emotional intelligence, So I wouldn't say one is more important than the other. I think there needs to be a balance of, all of these different skills for one to have, a true balance of purpose, if I'll put it that way.
Okay, so to go further with this question, because I'm quite curious, if you were to pick one of these, which is IQ or EQ, which one would you say is very important for anybody that you're dealing with to have? Whether it's business, personal relationship, romantic relationship, which one of these two would you say ranks higher?
I'm leaning towards the emotional intelligence side, and that's because being emotionally intelligent leans more towards dealing with people, right? And this is all about management. If we're talking about business, if we're talking about life, talking about relationships, being able to understand how people feel, being able to put yourself in other people's shoes and things like that, it will take you further than just being able to analyze things. Everything is not logic, and that doesn't mean I'm downplaying the importance of the analytical skills and all the other things that come with IQ. But I think, if I were to pick one, I'll go for the emotional intelligence because it's about dealing with people. And I think, you can always find people to analyze things, and in the AI world of today, computers are analyzing things everywhere, but even the computers, what differentiates them from us is the emotions. So I think I'll lean more towards that.
I like the fact that you mentioned AI because
Yeah.
at least I know that since I have EQ, nobody's going to take my job.
Yeah, it's important because, and just to add to that, it's a lot of people are talking about, and yes, are going to take jobs. I can imagine when maybe in those days when I can imagine the first time they brought a tractor to the farm, and then I'm sure the farmers would have maybe tried to kill the tractor or something. Who knows? But still, you still need the people behind the stuff. Some people still have to go out there to think about the product that's going to come out, to think of the best way to do things. So yeah, those that are emotionally intelligent and can use that are still going to be, one step ahead any day, anytime.
So this still leans towards the first question. Have you ever been in a situation where understanding your emotions saved you from making a bad decision?
Well, I can't remember any particular situation now, but I can imagine that has happened, understanding my emotions, saving me. I think the thing about emotions really is, and understanding other people's emotions, is that, you have to be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes for you to be able to understand that person's emotions. And most times you have to have experience, because for me, I find it, well, maybe some people have the skill, but I find it difficult to see how you can actually understand someone else's position if you've not been in that position before. For instance, they say, if you want to understand a 12-year-old, for example, or maybe a 13-year-old boy, maybe in my own case, right? They are doing something when they are 12-year-old. I can easily think of when I was 12 years old, and being able to put myself in that shoes, knowing fully well I've passed through that. There'll be some things that a 12-year-old boy is doing, but because I know I've gone through it before as a 12-year-old boy, now I can empathize with that person, But if I've not experienced it before, how do I fill in the emotional gap so that I can understand it? So, well, the truth is that, it's just, all of these things are still individual stuff. You have to be able to put yourself in the other person's shoes, for sure.
Now, how do you personally stay calm when things don't go as planned? I personally crash out, but I would like to hear how Mr. Babatunde Olaniro handles situations that don't go as planned. Tito is in the studio saying he buys ice cream.
Well, ice cream can cool your
If you can relate, thumbs up in the comments.
For me, I think it's, you have to stay calm. It's interesting because I'm not able to, and I don't want this to sound, because people may say, oh, it's not about being a Superman, but I'm not able to relate with saying something is tough. And this is the reason. Whenever I approach things generally, as much as I hope for the best, I always, for whatever reason, expect the worst, so that when the worst happens, you don't get shocked, right? Because some things in life, when they happen, people will look at it that you're just naive, because they expect that you should have actually thought about it from all angles. So, but I think, in order for you to tackle, difficult situations, I would say, keeping calm, try to stay more focused. I know these are the times when it's more difficult to be focused, but I think focus in these situations also help. Yeah, whatever it is that is troubling you, just start facing the solution immediately. There's no point thinking about the problem, because the more time you spend thinking about problems, the more the problems get bigger. Like me personally, I avoid talking about the problems. You see some people, they have issues and they are there telling everybody about the issue. This thing happened to me, or this thing happened. But if the person you're telling your problem cannot provide a solution, just keep it to yourself. There's no point. You're just going to expand the problem in your mind by speaking about it. So keep calm, focus, and start thinking of solutions.
So this leads me to another question. And this question is not planned, because you said that personally you don't share your problem. So the quote that says a problem shared is half solved, you don't believe in it.
The funny thing about this, okay,
you believe that a problem shared is amebo. How do they say it again? It's just for the next person. So people have two thoughts on sharing their problems. One is a problem shared is a problem half solved. The other parties feel that a problem shared is just for another person. Which category do you belong to?
The thing about this quote is that they are never complete. There's a lot of quotes that people quote. It's just like what you said, a problem shared is half solved. It's a problem shared with the right person is half solved. There's another quote, it's just like, this issue of, knowledge is power, right? It's actually applied knowledge that is power. So there's a lot of short codes that people run with, and then there's a lot of misinterpretation of those codes. So I still strongly believe that, and I didn't say that. Of course you share. Like I said, for me, if you're going to share your problem, at least share it with a plan in mind. Just imagine you need money and you're going to tell somebody that doesn't have money that you need money. So that's just a waste of your time. The person will just be looking and he'll probably tell. So it's you just have to share the problem with the right person. I think that's it. That's it. There's no point talking about it if the person cannot provide a solution to it.
So my next question, do you think people can actually learn emotional intelligence, or it is just natural?
Well, everything can be learned. Everything can be learned. Nobody was born with any skill. That's my belief. We all have abilities. We all have hands, or rather, at least apart from those that maybe were born with some disability, but that's why it's called disability. We all have abilities, hands, legs, eyes, nose, but no, apart from that, nobody was born with any other thing. I think everything can be learned. Everything can be learned.
Final question. Can you share a time when emotional intelligence helped you build or save a relationship?
I doubt I can think of any time although I know for sure that, being emotionally intelligent has helped a lot, especially in personal relationships for me. And most especially dealing with, the opposite sex in personal relationship. Like we said earlier, it's about, being able to put yourself in the other person's shoes, right? And I think, sometimes I'm a little bit guilty of understanding. I think I'm quite understanding in that manner. And I think for you to be understanding, you must have some level of emotional, intelligence, with you. So, but a story, I doubt I can think of any story right now.